So you may be wondering, what the heck, Adam? We've only done some exact campaigns and some product targeting campaigns. What about all of the other campaign types at launch? So really the purpose of this video is just going to be talking heads, no slides or anything like that, is just to talk through some of the other campaign types and the rationale for and against using them. So the first set is basically the non-exact terms. So these could be auto campaigns of all potential match types. This could be broad or phrase match. So these are basically taking kind of root words and it's trying to find other stuff like them to serve up as potential options for your ASIN. The problem with these at launch for me is that you get a lot of random activity as the algorithm tries to get smarter with determining what your product is. And it's incredibly hard for Amazon's advertising algorithm to even figure out which words to serve up yet, because it really just has the keywords that you've placed in your listing and it doesn't have a whole lot of other on-page activity, add to cart, sales, things like that will help it determine relevant terms to serve up. So I'll give you a couple examples. What may happen here in our golf pushcart example for both auto, phrase, and broad is it may serve up like a pink cart. Obviously our product's not pink and it's highly unlikely that we're going to convert on that, but it may waste some money on that. More likely, it might serve us up for something like golf accessories that we very well may want to have targeted at some point in the future. But in these early days when we're really trying to index, we're trying to rank, we're trying to send those signals to Amazon about what our product is, golf accessories isn't going to be the best example for us at this stage in the game. So we avoid those campaigns simply because there's too much room for error. The algorithm doesn't have enough data points. And frankly, with our budget as is, we probably don't need to be spending any more money on these pay-per-click campaigns, exploratory research pay-per-click campaigns at this stage anyway, because we don't have reviews, we don't have some of those other things that will help us convert later on in the weeks and months ahead with this particular product. So for me, I do not do auto, I do not do broad, I do not do phrase campaigns for the first month at least. Some people turn those on, after a few weeks, after you kind of start to get things humming. I personally there's enough to worry about, there's enough to think about, and there's enough value to extract from these other campaigns that we've set up that are exact and product targeting that is just not, in my view, worthwhile doing. We'll bring those into additional phases coming out of that first phase of launch, and we'll get into that in the pay-per-click masterclass on how to do that. But for launch, I don't do that. The other two types that you may be wondering about are sponsored brands and then actual sponsored video ads as well. For me, I definitely think if you've got a video constructed that's really ready to serve up for a pay-per-click ad, I think you can absolutely deploy those at launch. I would typically focus on those priority one keywords with an ad and probably batch them all into one. Frankly, sometimes it's hard to get impressions on those keywords using video because they only serve it up for certain keywords at certain times. So you can get away with just batching like 20 or 30 of those into one video campaign. It's also incredibly difficult right now to set up individual videos for each keyword, just the way that Amazon has to approve each video independently. It's very time consuming. I don't think it's necessarily that critical at launch. So if you've got a really good video, I think it totally makes sense to actually take those priority ones and create a video targeting campaign as well. And you'll tend to get really, really good traction on that, especially if you've got a visually differentiated product and a decent video ad to go along with it. In terms of sponsored brands, it's kind of up to you, right? There's definitely some benefit in having some of those headline ads and some of those other targeting platforms. If you've got it and you know how to do it well, it's fine to integrate. We are going to be working on sponsored brands for the campaign loader, and we'll definitely do a refresh video when that comes out. It's just a little bit time consuming, frankly, to think about the words, getting the imagery together, all that stuff for sponsored brands. So I don't often do it when I'm launching a product. We'll usually weave that in when we've got a little bit more time and we're starting to kind of stabilize the product. We'll kind of integrate those things into additional phases. But that's it. We kind of focus personally on single keyword targets, priority ones especially, exact target batching, and product targeting. If you've got video, bonus, throw it in there. If you've got time and the ability and systems to construct those sponsored brands as well, nothing wrong with integrating those. But I would avoid the auto, broad, and phrase research-oriented campaigns for this first 30-day period that we're launching. We'll integrate those later.